filled out.
All right. We got team colors and everything. Thank you. It's a change, right? I kind of like being over here. When I sat over there, I got that AC that just dumps right on top of me.
Welcome to Game 4 of the USWRA Low Point Wheelchair Rugby National Championships, hosted by RISEAdaptiveSports. We have the TIRR Texans taking on the Grand Rapids Thunder. Texans did not waste any time winning that tip and taking it straight in for the first try of the game. We have a loose ball. Danny Ortiz tries to wrangle it in, but he can't. So it will be Thunder ball. Thunder inbounds to 15. He tries to get around the outside, but JJ Narvaez blocks him in, so he passes off to number 13. 13, he's rolling around to the corner, is able to beat around Brian Spurley for the try. Texans inbound goes to Brian Spurley. He works his way back across to the right side of the court. Puts up a bump pass, but it's deflected by number 15. 7 recovers for the Thunder and passes back to 15, who backs his way all the way in for a try. Thunder has the lead, 2-1. Let's see how long they can hold it. Inbound once again goes to Brian Spurley. He's looking for an outlet. Drops up a pass to Danny Ortiz. He recovers but isn't able to make his way up court, so he calls a timeout. Texans will inbound from about midway up the backcourt. Danny Ortiz puts the ball into JJ Narvaez. JJ Narvaez is wiggling around, wiggles his way around everybody around the right side and breaks free for a try. Number 13 takes the inbounds for the Grand Rapids Thunder. He's charging up the middle of the court. Brian Spurley breaks off to contest him. Puts up a pass to number 15. Number 15 is fumbling with the ball, runs over it, but manages to break free of it and bring it back in. Dumps it off to number 7. Number 7 is working his way around as the Texans drop into a key defense, but aren't able to keep the Thunder out. 13 scores a try. JJ Narvaez once again pressing with the ball. JJ has impressive speed and maneuverability. Brian Spurley comes in for an assist. Gets the ball from him. JJ rolls back around to the left side. Brian Spurley finds some space on the right side thanks to a pick from JJ. Passes the ball along to Danny Ortiz for the try. Number 13 for Grand Rapids gets caught up in a mess, puts the ball up, a pass up for number 15, but number 15 can't bring it in. It's recovered by Brian Spurley of the Texans. He's pushing up the right side, gets stopped by number 7, so he dumps it off to Danny Ortiz. Danny Ortiz falls up the left side behind a block from Sebastian. but cuts back to the right. Takes advantage of a pick from JJ to score a try along the right side of the key. Number 15 for the Thunder charges. He's caught up in traffic, so dumps it off to number 13 over the top, who takes it all the way in for a try. Inbounds goes to Danny Ortiz. He runs into traffic. Looking to pass, or is he looking to push? He's looking to pass. Puts the ball up. JJ Narvaez recovers, dumps it back off to Brian Spurley for an easy try. Grand Rapids taking the ball out of the corner on their side. 13 puts the ball up for 7. 7 brings in the pass, but then loses it. Gets stripped by Brian Spurley of the Texans. Brian Spurley drives up to the center, but runs into the back of 15. So he dumps it off to Danny Ortiz. It'll be a jump ball. Looks like Danny Ortiz got tied up with number 7. So it will be Grand Rapids Thunder ball. Number 7 puts the ball in bounds to number 15, then takes the ball back from number 15. 7 is making a move toward the goal. Danny Ortiz is coming in hot to try and stop him. He gets him stopped right along the goal line, but 7 dumps it back to 13 for the try. Danny Ortiz on the inbound, dumps it into Brian Spurley as he crosses around to the right side of the court. Gets hung up for a bit, but he's able to break free. He's moving up court, gets right across the half court, and then is stopped. Spurley's got a double team on him, and he's got his back to the rest of the court. He's trying to get himself in a position to be able to dump the ball off. He does. It bounces off one of the Thunder players, so it'll remain Texans ball. Danny Ortiz inbounds the ball. Is looking for JJ, but JJ can't bring it in, so it rolls all the way outside to the other sideline. That's a turnover. It will be Grand Rapids ball. Number 7 inbounds, but it's deflected by Brian Spurley back out of bounds. It remains Grand Rapids ball. Number 7 inbounds. This time 13 gets it, but immediately crosses over the line for an over and back violation. Danny Ortiz sets up right around midcourt to inbound for the Texans. Airs it out with a nice over the top pass to Brian Spurley. Takes it all the way in for a Texans try. Number 15 takes the inbounds, passes it back to number 13. 13's working his way up court, but Danny Ortiz is coming in hot to close on him. Danny Ortiz stops him right around midcourt, so he passes the ball back to number 15. Then gets stopped by a combination of JJ Narvaez and Brian Spurley. Puts up a pass to number 22, but 22 can't bring it in. It's out of bounds. Texans ball. Sebastian on the inbounds for Texans. Puts a bump pass into Danny Ortiz. Takes it and is pushing up the left side of the court. He's going. JJ comes in with a nice pick to free up Danny. Danny can eat a sandwich all the way to the goal line. Number 13 has the ball on the inbounds but he loses it to Danny Ortiz. Danny Ortiz is backing up, trying to find himself a place to go. Number 7 gets his hand on the ball, but Danny's able to break free and get the ball to Brian Spurley. Brian Spurley's backing up and trying to find an exit. Brian Spurley is going to score a try. Ooh, that was very close, but Brian gets the try anyway on the back of a beautiful pick from JJ Narvaez. Ryan Ingleby takes the inbounds for Grand Rapids Thunder. He's got Brian Spurley covering him. Brian Spurley is sticking on him. Brian Spurley gives him a little space. So Ryan puts up a pass. It's a bouncing pass. Can his teammate get to it? He cannot. Out of bounds. Texans ball. Sebastian on the inbounds for the Texans. Gets it to Danny Ortiz, who immediately goes charging up court. We got it. Oh, Danny goes to bounce the ball, but he loses it. He recovers it, though, before it goes out of bounds. He's working. Danny Ortiz works 2-on-1 with JJ Narvaez, but they lose the ball to Ryan Ingleby. Ryan Ingleby puts up a long pass to number 13, who was able to take it all the way in for a try. Texans inbound goes to Brian Spurley. He brings in the inbound but gets hung up on number 7 and loses the ball. Ryan Ingleby recovers and will take it in for a try. A couple plays is all it takes to cut a lead. Grand Rapids has cut this Texans lead down to 1 already. Danny Ortiz has the ball, but he's getting spun around. And he calls timeout. Brian Spurley will take the inbounds for the Houston Texans from right around the corner. Puts the ball inbounds to Danny Ortiz. Grand Rapids Thunder are set up in a key defense. Danny Ortiz drives it in. Cuts back just inside Spurley and is able to beat Ryan Ingleby around in the middle for a try. Ingleby has the ball again and is charging, but he runs into J.J. Narvaez, puts up a pass that's deflected by Sebastian. J.J. Narvaez recovers and dumps the ball off to Brian Spurley. Spurley's coming back around the right side. Does he have a blocker? No, but he's got a receiver. Passes the ball off to Danny Ortiz for a try. Thunder get the ball inbounds to Ryan Ingleby. Ryan Ingleby again. Ingleby is charging up the right side, but he's got Danny Ortiz in front of him. He dumps the ball off to number 7, who does something with it, bounces it off his head, and then goes back to Ryan Ingleby. And Ryan Ingleby is able to bring it in for a pass, for a try. Sebastian inbounds to Danny Ortiz down low. Danny Ortiz is hung up on Ryan Ingleby, but he's able to get free. He's got J.J. Narvaez blocking. He's got open court in front of him, but he's got 2 defenders closing in fast. He puts on some moves. Passes the ball back to Brian Spurley. Spurley's looking for an outlet, gives the ball back to Danny Ortiz. He's got JJ on the end, but he goes around the left side, breaks free. He's able to score a try on a nice pick from Sebastian. Inbounds for the Thunder goes to number 22 down low. And that is the end of the first quarter. After 1 quarter of play, the TIRR Texans have a score of 11. The Grand Rapids Thunder have a score of 8. TIRR Texans will have the ball as we enter into the second period. Danny Ortiz will have the inbound as TIRR rolls out a new lineup featuring Danny Ortiz, Brian Spurley, Sebastian Broussard, and head coach Steve Curley making his appearance on the court. Curley takes the inbound, forces the ball up and across the goal, the half-court line, but pulls it back up. He's driving along the right side, lets the blocks set, and takes it in for an easy try. Ryan Ingleby takes the inbound again, but gets hung up on Brian Spurley. He's looking for an outlet. He doesn't have one, so he calls timeout. Ryan Ingleby takes the inbounds for Grand Rapids, working way back around, is able to break free Brian Spurley thanks to a nice pick from his teammate. Breaks hard across the right side of the court. Sebastian comes in for a good hit, stops him right on the other side of the midcourt line. Sebastian rolls off, leaving Danny Ortiz on him. Ryan Ingleby goes around number 7, but then runs smack into Steve Curley. Now Sebastian is back in on him. He's looking for an outlet. He doesn't have anything. So he calls another timeout.
Seconds on the shot clock. 15.
There will be 15 seconds on the shot clock for this play. All right, Ingleby takes the inbounds again. Texans are in key defense. He's aiming for the C gap, but he cuts back into the B and is able to beat Sebastian Broussard across for the try. Steve Curley has the inbound for the Texans. He's working up court with Sebastian as his lead blocker, but he's got 2 Thunder players on him. He cuts his way back across, but then finds Brian Spurley as an outlet for a try. Ryan Ingleby takes the inbounds again for Grand Rapids. Dumps the ball off to number 13. Ooh, 13 puts the brakes on in front of Steve Curley. Puts the pass up to Ingleby, but it's a bad pass, and Danny Ortiz from the Texans recovers to take it in for a try. Thunder inbounds goes to number 22. Defensed by Brian Spurley, but then dumped off back to Ryan Ingleby. It's balled on balled as Ryan Ingleby goes against Steve Curley. And Brian Spurley puts the pass up, but it's not in time. That's a 12-second violation on the Thunder. Texans ball. Steve Curley takes the inbounds from Danny Ortiz as they line up in the key offense. Steve Curley joins Danny on the right side. Danny comes in to block the chaser. Steve cuts around the front. Aims for the C gap, but it closes up, so he cuts back to the corner. That also closes up, so he cuts back around. Steve is looking to cut back all the way to the right, but he doesn't have a blocker there, so he has to call a timeout. Brian Spurley will take the inbounds out of the corner, dump it off to Steve Curley up on the top. And then dive straight in for a block. Steve Curley drops the ball off to Danny Ortiz, and then comes up and shoves him out of bounds for the try assist. Ingleby with the inbounds for the Thunder. Dumps it back off to number 7. 7 is working his way up the center of the court, but he is stopped by Danny Ortiz. He dumps a pass off, but again, it's too late. That's a 12-second violation on the Thunder. TIRR Texans ball. Sebastian Broussard inbounds to Brian Spurley, who then dumps the ball straight off to Danny Ortiz. It's a race, but Danny puts on the brakes. It gets hung up. Now Danny's looking for an outlet. He's got to be quick about it. He loses the ball out of bounds, but it remains Texans ball. Danny Ortiz calls for the inbounds for TIRR Texans. He will take it out of the corner. Inbound goes to Steve Curley. Weaves around to the left side to try and test the defense. Nothing's doing, so he cuts back to the right. Lets his teammates have time to set up. Driving hard at the C gap, but he gets jammed up. Texans have 3 players in the key. Dumps it out to Sebastian Broussard, who gets out of bounds but isn't all the way in the key, so that will be a turnover. Thunder ball. Thunder will take it out of the corner. Inbounds goes to number 22 for the Thunder, and drops it off to number 13. There's a whole lot of mess, but 13 is able to get out to Ryan Ingleby, who was all alone except for one of his own teammates to roll in for an easy try. Spurley inbounds to Steve Curley. Low on the left side of the court. Steve cuts back, is working his way on the left side of the court, dumps the ball up, goes over Sebastian's head, and is picked up by Danny Ortiz. Danny Ortiz will take a breather a little bit and then push it in for a try. Ryan Ingleby is coming down hard on the right side of the court, but the inbounder doesn't even have the ball yet. Looks like 22 will be inbounding now for the Thunder. 22 works his way down so he can dump it off easy for Ryan Ingleby, and then pick up a nice block for him against Steve Curley. Danny Ortiz comes up to stop Ryan Ingleby. Ingleby drops it off to 13, who can't rope in the pass. It's a race between Ingleby and Spurley for the ball, and Ingleby comes up with it. Ingleby past the 13, who has his own pass deflected by Danny Ortiz out of bounds, but it looks like it bounced off a Thunder chair first, so it will be Texans ball. Ortiz inbounds to Brian Spurley. He's weaving his way from the left side of the court up to the middle. He's crossed over to the middle and can roll easily in for a try. Number 22 calls inbound for the Grand Rapids Thunder. Ingleby setting up down low. Ingleby follows a block up number 22, but Sebastian Broussard is coming in. Ingleby cuts in a little bit to juke him, and then now it's a foot race all the way to the end for a try for the Thunder. Danny Ortiz inbounds to Steve Curley up high on the key. Steve's got the ball. It's just him versus number 13 for the Thunder. And Steve wins that race for a try. Number 22 inbounds to number 13 for the Thunder. 13 is cutting up court, but he's got Danny Ortiz on the block. Danny Ortiz puts on the break and stops him. 13's got to do something. What's he going to do with it? He airs it out up court, but it's picked off by Brian Spurley, who will roll it back down for the Texans and take it all the way in for a try. Ingleby takes the inbounds down low. It's him on Steve, but he's got to pick. Brian Spurley comes in to assist, forces the cutback. Now Ingleby's coming back. It's Ingleby versus Curley. Ingleby puts the ball up, but it's intercepted by Danny Ortiz. Danny Ortiz still has the ball and is cutting back across for a try. Number 22 inbounds to Ingleby. Ingleby motions like he's going to follow a block up 22, but cuts back the other way. It was him against Steve. Steve Curley is coming back in hot pursuit. It's Ingleby versus Curley all the way up to the key. Curley and Spurley combined to stop Ingleby, but then he dumps the ball off to 13, who was able to score a try for the Thunder. Curley has the inbound, is driving up court, puts a little floater pass up for Sebastian Broussard, who catches the ball and easily rolls in for a try. Ingleby takes the pass down low again. He's looking for an outlet, dumps it off to number 13, who's covered by Curley. Curley stops him, but so did he stop 7 as well. Ingleby has the ball, then drops it off to number 22. Passes the ball back to 13, but 13 did not rope the ball in fast enough. That'll be a turnover on the Grand Rapids Thunder. Texans ball. Sebastian Broussard will be taking this inbounds in out of the corner. Puts a bump pass into Brian Spurley, who immediately cuts back all the way to the sideline. He gets hung up by number 7. Number 7 is swiping. Spurley puts a bump pass up, goes over Danny Ortiz's head, and is recovered by Ingleby. Ingleby drops the ball back off to number 22. 22 is working around Brian Spurley, but then picked up by Danny Ortiz. Drops an outlet pass to number 25 as he rolls around him. 25 follows 7, then cuts back. You have a 3-on-2 situation. 25 works toward the corner, but it's cut off by Brian Spurley. He cuts back. He's got all kinds of space on the left side now for a try. Texans call a timeout so they can advance the ball to half court. We have 10 seconds left in the first half. When we come back, the Grand Rapids Thunder will be hanging out in their key defense, waiting for the TIRR Texans to come to them. We'll see what kind of line Coach Curley puts out for the Texans. Number 7 for the Thunder is getting squirrely. He's going to come contest this inbounds to Steve Curley. Doesn't work on his favor, though. Curley winds up with the ball anyway, and he's pushing fast toward the try line. However, Sebastian cannot ring the pass in before he crosses the try line. That'll be a turnover. Grand Rapids Thunder ball. Ryan Ingleby takes the inbounds deep in the corner, and we'll just hold it to run the clock out on the first half. At the end of the second quarter, the TIRR Texans lead the Grand Rapids Thunder 21-14.
one of the things I was doing was one of the things I had done. Yeah. Go green.
And we're back with the second half of Game 4 of the USWRA Low Point National Championships. TIRR Texans lead the Grand Rapids Thunder 21-14. Grand Rapids takes the ball for the opening possession of the second half. Ryan Ingleby driving against the Texans in key defense formation. He's looking for a C-gap between JJ and Steve, but it's not there. He backs up and tries to go back again. It's still not there. Puts up a pass to number 7, but it was just a little too far. 7 could not bring it in off his fingertips. It'll be TIRR Texans ball. Sebastian Broussard tries to put in a deep bump pass, but it bounces off one of the basketball goals here at the gym. Unfortunately for Sebastian, that is a turnover for the TIRR Texans. Number 7 attempts to put the ball in for Ryan Ingleby, but it's slapped out of bounds by Sebastian. Ingleby takes the inbound cleanly this time, but he has nowhere to go. He tries to put up a pass, but Brian Spurley plucks it out of the air and drops it back over his head to Steve Curley. Steve Curley dumps off a deep pass to JJ. JJ's able to bring it in. He's got nobody around him to prevent him from scoring. Number 11 inbounds to Ryan Ingleby down low for the Thunder, and then comes out to put on a block, but it's not much use against JJ. JJ is still riding along on top of them. Ingleby drops up a pass over Spurley's head to number 13, and 13 drops it back to Ingleby. Ingleby's weaving his way around, trying to find a hole in the defense, trying to set up some blocks to work his way across. He's got some blocks now. He's going for the corner. Steve Curley comes in for the stop and forces him out of bounds. Instead of a try, they have a turnover. It'll be TIRR Texans ball. Sebastian Broussard will inbound from the corner. Drops a bump pass off to Steve Curley coming down low, sweeping across. Steve breaks through traffic and is able to get himself up court. He's got nothing but teammates up court, so he will easily roll in for the try. Number 7 inbounds to number 11's for Grand Rapids, but he fumbles the ball, bounces it off his picker. It's recovered by Brian Spurley. Spurley cuts back under in his stop, but dumps the pass off to Steve Curley. Steve takes a breath while he waits for his offense to line themselves up. Calls for a full reset. Steve drives down low, draws defense off to the right, then cuts back to the left. He's trying to squeeze between Ingleby and number 13. He doesn't have it, but he's able to drop it over his head to Brian Spurley. That was a pretty behind the back pass by Steve Curley. Ingleby stuck down low again, puts the pass up, but it's just out of the reach of number 13. Number 11 is closing on it, but he can't bring it in time. Bounces it out of bounds. It will be TIRR Texans ball. Sebastian puts up a bump pass to Steve Curley, who spins around like a top and cannot bring the pass in. Ball rolling on the floor. Now JJ is fighting with Ryan Ingleby for it. Steve Curley is in the mess somewhere, but he's got his back to the ball. JJ recovers the ball, passes it out to Brian Spurley, who wheels around to the right side, dumps it off to Sebastian Broussard for the try. Number 22 for Grand Rapids is carrying the ball right now. He's cutting back across to the right side of the court, but JJ's following him. Drops a pass up high, but there's nobody there to receive it, so it will be Texans ball. Sebastian Broussard inbounds the ball from the corner to Brian Spurley. Brian Spurley cuts back, or Steve Curley cuts back. Waits for Sebastian to come in and set a pick, and works his way to the middle of the court. Now throws over to Brian Spurley, who will take it in for a try. Thunder inbounds is deflected by Sebastian Broussard right into the hands of Brian Spurley, who wheels right around to score a try. Thunder call timeout on that inbounds. Texans come flying out of their key defense and into a press. They got Ryan Ingleby locked up right on his side of the half. He's looking for an outlet. He gets the pass off to number 25, who comes around to the left side. But Brian Spurley is there to cover him. Brian Spurley reaches and gets called for a penalty. Inbounds for the Thunder goes to Ryan Ingleby. Slow pushes to let his blocks develop, then takes it easily on the left side, but he's not going to go in yet. He's going to try and burn some clock. Now he takes it in for a try. Steve Curley takes the inbound, puts it in deep, and it's picked up by Brian Spurley way into the front court and rolls in for a try for the Texans. Ingleby takes the inbounds and then drops it off to number 25. Rolls us around, but he's got JJ and Steve Curley on top of him. He's got Liz Dunn to help. He puts up a pass. JJ takes the pass. JJ Narvaez runs the offense on this one and scores a try for himself. Number 11 inbounds to Ryan Ingleby. Ryan Ingleby cuts back and forth. He's looking for an opening. Finds some space on the right side and hits the gas. It's just him and Steve Curley. Cuts back in. Curley's right there with him. And there comes JJ for another assist. JJ gets Ingleby stopped. Steve breaks off to cover the outlets. Ingleby's spinning around, but he's running out of time. He's got to figure out something to do. 2 seconds. He puts the pass up for Liz Dunn, but she can't bring it in. That'll be a play clock violation. Texans ball. Coach Curley calls for a sub. Brian Spurley heads back to the bench while Danny Ortiz rejoins the game. Danny Ortiz will be inbounding out of the corner. Ortiz's inbounds goes to Steve Curley. He's working his way down, trying to find some space. He doesn't have it, so he puts the pass out to JJ in the middle of the court. JJ's going to push up. It's a foot race between JJ and number 13, but JJ gets hooked up just inside the key, but he's able to pass it back to Steve Curley. Steve is pushing the left corner. Does he get in? He does not, so he passes back to JJ for the try. Number 11 will take the inbounds for Grand Rapids. And dump it off to number 13, who will cut back low on the right side of the court, but JJ is following along with them. JJ gets picked out by Liz Dunn, so Steve Curley picks up the ball carrier. Steve swipes the ball away and steals it. There's a pass out for Danny Ortiz. Danny takes the ball, slams on the brakes, cuts back. Now it's a race between him and Liz to the goal line, and Danny wins. Number 11 inbounds to number 13 again, but he's hooked all up on Sebastian Broussard. He's going to back out of it. Here comes Steve Curley to cover over the top with help from Danny Ortiz. He attempts a bump pass, but it doesn't make it to its target. It makes it into Danny Ortiz's hand. Danny Ortiz will work his way back up the court for an easy try. Inbounds number 25, who's hooked up on J.J. Narvaez. He's looking for an outlet, gets it to number 13. Covered by Steve Curley. They're working up the court. Steve puts a hit on him before he can get to the midcourt line. So he drops off a pass, but there's nobody there for it except J.J. Narvaez. J.J. recovers it, drops it off to Danny Ortiz. Danny Ortiz is pushing back up court with it, swings around the right side, and takes it all the way in. Number 25 will take the inbound from Grand Rapids Thunder as the TIRR Texans drop into a key defense. Number 25 is weaving around to the left side to try and attack the corner with Sebastian Bashar, but there's nothing there, so he cuts back in. He's going to try and go for that C-gap, but it closes up real quick. Dumps it off to Liz Dunn, who makes the catch. Can she get in for a try? They got her slammed up. There's all kinds of pushing. There is no try on the play. I have no idea what happened, but Gabe Garcia does not like it one bit. Steve Curley inbounds to Danny Ortiz, who pulls a pirouette in the middle of the court and then continues to push forward. He's moving over to the right, takes a hit and drops it off to Sebastian Broussard, who makes a clean catch. Weaves around, then eventually brings it in for a try. Number 25 takes the inbounds for Grand Rapids. He cuts back and forth and puts a pass up to 13, who can't bring it in. It bounces off his chair, but it doesn't. Bounces off his chair and rolls out of bounds. Number 11 inbounds the ball to number 25, who brings it in, puts it over the top to 13, who does not score a try. The quarter ended before he could cross the try line. So at the end of 3 quarters of play, the Texans still lead the Thunder with a comfortable 19-point lead. As we move into the fourth quarter, TIRR Texans will inbound the ball with Brian Spurley sitting roughly around midcourt. Spurley in Browns to Curley. Then comes up and picks a block on Ryan Ingleby for him. Curley drums the ball back to Spurley, who's able to take it in for a try. TIRR Texans will be dropping into key defense again, as the Grand Rapids Thunder come across half court unopposed. Number 25 looks to take it in the right side of the key, but Steve Curley is able to close that gap before he can make it. He's cutting back all the way to the left now. He doesn't see anything there, so he weaves back and forth. He's up at the top of the three-point line. Dumps the ball back up to Ryan Ingleby, who promptly starts charging. He's looking at the corner, but there's also still nothing there. Cuts back all the way to the right, but Steve Curley is still there. Swats the ball out of bounds. It will remain Grand Rapids ball. Number 11 will inbound the ball from the corner for Grand Rapids. He dumps the right end into Ryan Ingleby, who uses a little pick from Liz Dunn to swerve himself free of Brian Spurley. But now he's stuck on Steve Curley, so he dumps the ball back to number 11, who gets hit by Danny Ortiz but is able to take the try anyway. Brian Spurley gets loose on that inbounds. While the rest of the Texans hang back in the key defense. Brian Spurley comes out aggressive as the chaser gets caught up at the top of the key. Number 25 tries to jam the B gap, but he runs into Danny Ortiz and JJ. He passes the ball back to Ingleby, but they're going to have a turnover. Steve Curley will inbound for the Texans. He bumps it deep, goes right over the head of number 25. JJ Narvaez isn't able to bring it in, so there's a scrum, but it will be a jump ball.
You got it to start the quarter.
Number 25 charges hard for the right side of that key, but Steve Curley is there to convince him otherwise. So he passes up over the head of Danny Ortiz to Ryan Ingleby, who rolls in for the try. Curley and Browns to Spurley, who drives right up the center of the court and around number 25. He's got lots of defenders, but also lots of help, so he cuts back and drops the ball up to Steve Curley. Now Steve Curley is following Brian Spurley around the right side. Beats number 11 around the front, and then passes the ball up to Danny Ortiz for the try. TIRR Texans are playing a hard deny defense on this one, forcing 11 to put a bump out there. That's picked off by Brian Spurley. Spurley takes the ball in for a try. Inbounds goes to Ryan Ingleby down low. Who finds number 25 to pass off to. Number 25 fakes left and dumps it back off to Ryan Ingleby. But it took way too much time. That was a 12-second violation. Turnover, Texans ball. Danny Ortiz will inbound for the Texans. Airs it out to Steve Curley around midcourt, who promptly passes it right back to Danny between two defenders. That was a great pass, Steve. Ingleby has the ball down low again. He's backing up, looking for his teammates. He has a couple blockers. Rolls up midcourt behind number 11, then passes the ball on, but it's picked off by Steve Curley right at the midcourt line. Steve passes it off to Danny Ortiz, who takes it in for the try. Ingleby's looking for outlets again, gets it to 25. He juggles it, but he's able to bring it in. Will he be able to break free of J.J. Narvaez? He will not, so he calls a timeout. TIRR Texans are setting up in the key defense again. Ingleby takes the inbounds and sets the offense up for some key offense. Ingleby wastes no time charging for that B gap. It closes, so he's going around to the corner. He can't beat Steve Curley to the corner, but he's still pushing. It's not there. Backs up, takes a dribble, and he's looking around. His time's running low, though. He's got to do something quick. He's coming around to the right side, but runs into J.J. Narvaez. Tries to split J.J. and Brian. Instead, puts up a pass that's picked off by Steve, but it doesn't matter because the clock ran out anyway. Texans ball. Steve Curley will inbound from the corner. JJ was looking deep, but he didn't have the range. So instead, Steve drops it off to Danny Ortiz, who then drops the ball off over the head of everyone to JJ Narvaez. Number 25. Drives in hard. He cuts around looking for that corner. Steve Curley is able to double back around Liz Dunn and seal the corner out, but 25 gets back in and scores the try. Coach Curley reminds his team they have no more bench timeouts. Brian Spurley inbounds to J.J. Narvaez and then takes the dump back and drives up the left side of the court. Brian is rolling hard but dumps the pass off to Danny Ortiz for the try. What the? Number 25 has the inbounds for Grand Rapids. He's fighting hard against JJ, so he dumps it off to number 13. Number 13 is fighting hard against Danny Ortiz, so he dumps the ball off to Brian Spurley of the Texans, who picks the ball up and will turn it and run it back up court. Texans drop back on key defense again. Number 25 has the ball for Grand Rapids and pushing it up court. Number 25 doesn't find anything on the right side of the key, so he cuts back left. 13 drops in. He gets the pass off to him for a try. Danny Ortiz takes the inbounds for the Texans. Works his way around number 11. He's got lots of free space ahead of him, but he's got defenders crashing hard. 25 comes in, so he dumps it over the top to J.J. Narvaez, who takes it in for the try. Texans come out of the key defense and attack the ball, and it pays off as Brian Spurley picks off the pass. Spurley dumps the ball off to Danny Ortiz, who gets in a foot race all the way up court, and he wins. Number 25 pushing the ball up court again for the Thunder. Texans once again in key defense. 25 goes to the right side. He's looking for a weak corner against Sebastian, but he doesn't find it, so he cuts back in. He had a gap, but it wouldn't last long for him anyway, so he cuts back. Now he's looking around. He doesn't know what to do. He's dribbling. He's got some defense put on him by Brian Spurley, but he's able to back out of it, but he's not able to capitalize on it. Puts a pass up to Liz Dunn, but she's not able to bring it in, so it rolls out of bounds. It will be Texans ball. Danny Ortiz takes the inbounds for the Texans. Works his way around to the left side. He's got open JJ on the right side, so he dumps it off for him. JJ struggles to bring in the catch, though. He does in the end, but now he's locked up. He's looking for an outlet. Dumps it back off to Danny Ortiz, who spins around and follows in behind Brian Spurley. Now he's cutting back to the left, looking for space. It's just him and Sebastian on the left side. Coach Curley calls for the setup, and instead he tosses to JJ for the try. .13 takes the inbounds for Grand Rapids. Cuts around low along the baseline to the left side. Cuts back in thanks to a pick from Liz Dunn, then throws the ball to nobody in particular. The ball is slowly bouncing its way up court. The two Thunder players chase it down. They're able to recover and bring it in for a try anyway. JJ, Coach Curley having a little fun with JJ. Apparently he picked one of his own teammates. Brian Spurley still rolling the ball. There's not much time left. We got 13 seconds left in this ball game. They're not even going to try for anything. They're just going to bounce and run the clock down. And the final score of Game 4 of the USWRA Low Point Wheelchair Rugby National Championships. Texans easily defeat the Thunder by a score of 46-20. Thank you for watching this game. I'm going to take a 1-game break. So even though you might see on your schedule another stream game, I need to take a break and go have some food. I will join you for the next stream after that. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.